Somebody is wearing a green shirt in front of a green screen and didn't realize it till after they pressed record. Today on Poor Choices, we're making spinach and artichoke dip perfect for tailgating. We've got smoked Gouda, we've got smoked mozzarella, we're gonna make a garlic confit to make it extra fancy, and it all comes together really easily. So whether you're on the couch watching the game or outside the stadium, this is literally one of the best dips you can have on hand. Let me see if I can time this right. Starting out, look who's back on camera. All my peoples are out of the country for a week and the construction across the street has kind of calmed down. It's been like 2 years of nonstop construction, so the house is actually quiet. We're gonna start out with a garlic confit if you're well read like me. This is pretty much just taking garlic and roasting it in the oven in olive oil. You don't have to do this. You can totally just use regular minced garlic if you want to. But I like to play the scenario in my head of like, what if I show up to a potluck and I have the same dish as somebody else? Well, I want mine to not only be different, I want it to be better. So that's kind of how I approach researching a lot of recipes now. It's like, okay, here's the basis of it. Now what can I do to make it just slightly different? So we're gonna confit this. So first we need a head of garlic. Let's see how much noise this makes. What I wanna do is get these out of their peels, but I'm gonna do this little hack that I've had a mild success rate with. Sometimes it works perfectly, and other times it fails horribly, so we'll see. But essentially what we're gonna do is put this garlic here in this plastic bowl, and we're just gonna shake it up. And ideally, if we do this right, all the garlic will come out of its paper. Maybe one or two will be left behind in it, and we just have to, you know, peel it out the manual way. And this looks pretty good. I was gonna do both these heads of garlic, but I think I'm just gonna stick with the one for now. So we're just gonna put the lid on. And even though I said I'm on camera because there is no noise, we're going to make some noise. All right, so that didn't work. So of all that nonsense, 2 pieces of garlic came out of their paper. The rest did not. And also I got garlic in my eye, which is weird. That kind of burned for a second. So in the event of failure like this, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna crack them open. So hit it like that, crack the paper, peel it off. Is this extremely tedious? Yes, quite annoying if I'm being very honest, but has to be done because I chose this path. Something I was saying earlier, or at least I imagine I said earlier, the reason why we're gonna do a confit is because one, it mellows out the flavor of garlic, adds some sweetness to it as well. It also just adds something different to the dish, again, that helps it separate itself from everyone else's spinach and artichoke dip. The other cool thing about doing a garlic confit is, since we're gonna cover this in oil and put it in the oven for like an hour, we're left with a garlic infused oil that we can use later on for a number of things when we're cooking. So, 2 birds, 1 stone kind of situation. And again, you don't have to do this. You can totally just get some garlic and just mince it yourself. It's totally fine. So the garlic itself is good for like 2 weeks after you have confited it. So you can use it for quite a while. And again, it can go in so many different dishes. And the oil is good for as long as oil is good for. All right, let's get ready to put this oil in here. All right, I've just got a cast iron skillet here. You can use any type of oven safe vessel, whether it's a baking dish. Just wanna make sure you have plenty of room for your garlic. And this is really, really simple. So I've just got some olive oil here, and I'm just going to pour enough in here to cover the garlic like 75% up. Some will be submerged while others won't. And you might be like, damn, John, that's a lot of olive oil. Well, remember, we're not throwing this away when we're done. Okay, we're gonna totally use this again. It's gonna be garlic infused. And if you want to, you can put like thyme, rosemary, any other seasonings in here, but I wanna keep this kind of straightforward. We'll do a little bit more, there we go. And we've got our oven preheated to 300 degrees. And we're just gonna pop this in for about an hour, and then we'll check on it and we'll see if they're nice and golden brown. Almost forgot one step. We need to cover this bad boy. Just gonna throw some tin foil over it because I don't have a lid for this. Yeah, there we go. Now we can go in the oven. All right, our garlic confit is finito. 1 hour, I went the full hour at 300 degrees, and now these are nice and golden brown. Definitely wanna let these cool. Like I've been letting these cool for about an hour and a half just because we're gonna put it in a container. And I don't want it to melt. But we're gonna take a few cloves of these. I think for this recipe, I wanna use like 4. And so I'm just gonna scoop them out. don't really need the olive oil in this particular case. So I'm gonna let some of that drain out. But this will be good. The garlic itself will be good for 2 weeks. Just keep it in the fridge. And you definitely want to keep it in some olive oil, if not just pouring the entire thing in, just because there's like, you know, botulism and all sorts of things that can kind of come with this. So what I would do is I'd set a reminder like a week and a half in, if you haven't used all the garlic yet, to then take it out of the oil so that way it doesn't go bad in the oil and you waste your oil. So this is a little something there. And then actually what I'm gonna do real quick, like this is so great because I can mash this up so easily. So I'm gonna take the spoon and just mash it. Kind of gonna turn it to a paste. Just gonna take this, pour it into our container. Oh my God, I'm making a big mess. And then let's get our garlic in there as well. All right, so I'm gonna clean this up and then I'm gonna prep a few other things. So this is the easy part. Now we're just dumping everything together, but I am going to shred my cheeses. You don't really need to see that, just cheese on this. So when I come back, we're gonna start combining everything and I'll walk you through the process and it's really, really easy. We've got a bag of frozen spinach here. You're more than welcome to use fresh spinach if you want to, but this is good to go. It's already chopped and everything. However, we do need to get a lot of this moisture out of here. So I've got myself just some cheesecloth down. You could use a regular towel if you want to. We're gonna get the spinach out onto the cheesecloth because there is a lot of moisture that we do not want. It's an artichoke dip, not an artichoke soup. Got it in here. We're just gonna pull that up, get us a little bowl here, and we're gonna, ooh yeah, you see that? All that needs to go. It smells interesting, spinach water. Give it one more thorough squeeze. And again, I'm just turning this and it kind of just applies all the pressure we need. And with the cheesecloth, it lets all that water out. That looks very gross. This looks like something I drank in my 20s, if I'm being real with you. Looks like an Incredible Hulk, which if you don't know what that is, that's just Hypnotic and Hennessy mixed together. We're gonna just throw our spinach in here, our ball of spinach in there. Don't worry, we can distribute it a little bit better later on. That takes care of that. And then I have got some artichokes here. This is grilled artichoke hearts, which is phenomenal. So ideally, if I was making this and not videoing this, I would be doing this on my smoker and getting all those grill elements into it. But I'm not gonna fire that up today because I want to see, can I bring the essence of the grill without actually using it? So this is grilled artichokes. You can use regular if you want to. If you wanna do the fresh artichoke and peel them and do all this stuff, you can, but just use this here. I'm actually gonna get this out onto some paper towels, because just like the spinach, we don't want to put too much moisture into this. It's just not going to come together well. So I got this whole jar here and I'm going to get all of it out. I can add with our lovely spinach water. This is spinach and artichoke water. That sounds disgusting. And then same thing, I'm gonna waste a bunch of paper towels and just getting this dry. Now, this is up to you. How fine of a dice do you want your spinach and artichoke to be? Maybe you want huge chunks. Maybe you want it to kind of all just melt together to the point where you don't even realize there's artichokes in there. It is really up to you. Know thy audience when you're making food. That is something I preach to people. So how I may want something fine, you may want something, you may want to be reminded that something is there. Get a little rustic if you, as they might say. So I'm actually just gonna take these, put them onto the cutting board, and I'm gonna chop these down just a little bit more. They don't need to be finely, but there's some huge chunks in here that I don't mind taking down a bit. I'm just taking my knife, I'm just gonna give them a rough chopping. I tend to repeat myself because I don't know what I'm gonna cut out, because I am always super critical of myself, especially when I have to hear myself talk. So if you hear me say something over and over again, it's most likely because I didn't know if I was gonna cut it out earlier, so I'm saying it again. But this is a pretty good dice to me. I still want there to be the essence of artichoke in there. But maybe you got kids or a picky eater and you need to like disguise the artichoke. So having it finer is fine. All right, I'm gonna put this in the same bowl as the spinach. While I peel this open, I just wanna say that spinach was frozen spinach, but I did let it thaw out. So just an FYI there. So we're gonna mix some of our creamy things together. So I'm gonna do about half a cup of mayonnaise. And sometimes when I'm being lazy and I don't feel like getting something dirty, this is not the ideal situation. Instead of putting it in the measuring cup and then putting it in there, I know this is stupid, trust me. Sometimes I just look at it, I look at the amount and I say, yeah, that's about right. We're gonna do half a cup, or what I feel like half a cup of sour cream is. That feels about right. I might be the only cooking show that questions why you listen to me. I'm good for business. All right, so we've got that in there. I've got this Boursin cheese. This is garlic and fine herbs. This is just a special little addition to it. This is a really great cheese. Like using this in something, say like a lasagna would be fire, or a spaghetti. We're gonna add the whole thing in there. And then we've got 1 block of room temperature cream cheese. Had this out for a couple hours. So we're going to throw that whole block in there. And we got some Worcestershire sauce. Great umami flavor. I'm gonna do, I think actually a dash. It really is like a tablespoon, but I feel like that dash is pretty good. And then we're just gonna give this an initial mixing, break everything down, get that Boursin, all that sour cream and mayo and everything mixed up. And it's funny, it kind of looks like cottage cheese. I don't need to bring you over here to see it, just take my word on it. It will look like that once you get it all mixed up. All right, so we've got that all mixed up. Now we start working in some of our other things. So that garlic confit from earlier, I'm just gonna mash it up just a little bit more, just until it's a little more of a finer paste. I'm gonna work that in there. And I am taking the time to stop and stir everything in, just because like if you pour everything in and then start mixing it, it can kind of form like pockets sometimes, or not be as evenly distributed. So it's just good to kind of get into that practice. I know the idea would be like, oh, just dump all this and go, but you know, put some love into it. We have that. We're gonna put our spinach and artichoke in here, stir that up nice and evenly. And then we've got our cheeses. So all the measurements will be down there, but I'm gonna try to remember this off the top of my head. I believe this is a cup of smoked Gouda. Then I've got like a 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan. And then what else did I put in here? Oh, I've also got like half a cup of Gruyère cheese. These are just the cheeses that I chose to use. You could absolutely use any type of cheese that you want, but this is my go-to blend. And let's get all that mixed up. It feels good and mixed up. And then the last thing that I am going to add, you know my go-to brand of seasonings, Cattleman's Grill. No, they don't sponsor this. They should. But I understand why they don't, because this isn't exactly an advertiser-friendly show. But I've got the Italiano seasoning here because it's got some, not only just salt and pepper, but it's got like red bell pepper in it, some red pepper flakes. It's just got some great flavors that I think is gonna be going great with this recipe. But if you don't have this, you can totally just use salt, pepper, and some red pepper flakes. That's literally all you need. I'll put the amounts down in the description, but this is what I'm going with. We don't need a lot. This might just end up being like a teaspoon's worth, because I don't want to take away from all the other things that are making this recipe amazing. I really just kind of want it to complement. We're going to get this into a baking vessel that at least can hold a quart. I have this little doohickey here, and we're going to see, can I get all this in there? Initially, I was worried that this wouldn't fit, but I think this might just be perfect. And also, I've had my oven preheating at 350 degrees this entire time, and I think it's there. So we've got it in our baking dish. I'm just gonna get this spread out evenly. One last thing that I'm adding, completely optional, I found at the store some smoked mozzarella. Again, bringing in those grill elements without actually having to use the grill. So I've just shredded this myself. And all the cheeses I shredded myself because I want them to melt properly. If you use the bag stuff, well, you can use the bag stuff, you won't get that like extra gooiness that I'm particularly looking for. But trust me, when I'm in a pinch, I will bag it up. Just give it a good little topping. This is gonna like brown perfectly. I probably shredded more than I needed, but guess what? Now I've got something to use on some pizza. All right, let's get this into the oven. It's gonna be 350 degrees for about, 30 minutes or so. Siri. Always embarrassing me. Set timer for 30 minutes. Oh, come on now. Set timer for 30 minutes. One of you, set timer for 30 minutes. There we go. All right, it's been a total of 40 minutes for our spinach and artichoke dip. I let it go just an extra 10 minutes because I wanted the top to get nice and brown, which it did. And now it is time for a taste test, even though I've already tasted this and I feel like there's probably some cheese in my beard, but we're gonna do it on camera because somebody on Reddit, in the Unpopular Opinion channel once said that they hate cooking shows when they eat their food at the end. They say it's cringe. And I agree with all the other people who responded, which is don't watch the end. This is fire. Really, really good. All the smoked elements really makes it feel like it came off the grill without us having to use said grill. So I'm really satisfied with that. It's nice and creamy, perfect consistency all the way through. Again, if you want to eat these with, like, I got these sourdough bites. I got these little bread chips here. I've got tortillas, whatever you want to. You can put your hand in there if you want to. It's all up to you. This is definitely a great tailgating food. Hey everybody, this is Poor Choices Kitchen. We have a Patreon link down in the description. $1 a month is all we ask for to pay for recipes in these here inflated times. And we also have YouTube memberships. That's $2.99. And again, to pay for recipes in these here inflated times. If you ask me which one is better, I don't know, Patreon, you can pay more than $1 if you want to. With YouTube, it's just that flat rate, $2.99. But if you do subscribe to YouTube, it helps me get over the monthly threshold to get paid. But again, it's all up to you. Even just a share, subscribe, comment, like, all that helps go a long way in getting this channel to a higher place. So until then, I'll see you next time. I don't know when I'll be back on camera again because I kind of like the vibe of just, you know, you've seen my hands and doing the voiceover. I know some of you want longer videos, but I edit really long videos full time during the week, so I don't want to edit more longer videos, but we'll see what happens. This was fun to do today. So as I already said before, and I'll say it again, until next time, peace.